Imagine a world where citizens praise sports more than academics. When society decides to value sports more than education, the world will get off topic and people will begin not to care about the importance of how the students are doing academically. If you think about it, athletes are already being paid just through scholarship and not in money form. What are the two most popular sports? Football and basketball. What happens to the unpopular sports? Will they be equally paid? At this time, I would like for your undivided attention as I explain to you why I feel as if college athletes should not be paid. My first point is that they're already being paid. Paying athletes puts too much emphasis on sports and not education. And finally, there will be unfair compensation between the sports and the sexes. My first point, college athletes are already being paid. Some people are aware enough to realize that student athletes are already being paid through full scholarships. So essentially, this is pay because they receive full tuition, room, meal plans, and money for books and other miscellaneous expenses. At the bigger, more successful universities, athletes receive way better and bigger benefits such as counseling, tutoring, life skill training, and even nutritional advice. Certainly, not all athletes are on a full scholarship. However, but the student athletes that are in revenue sports are receiving compensation in the form of educational benefits and living expenses. To an economist, this is considered pay, just not in money form. Student athletes also receive free professional coaching, strength training, therapists, and all types of other benefits. Using these valuations, an athlete at a major conference school on a full scholarship is receiving training and coaching and expenses valued between $50,000 and $125,000 per year. Second, what is the main reason for going to college? To get an education so you can have a better future. But if we're paying our athletes, we're focused and putting our attention on other things such as sports, you would actually forget the purpose of being at college. For example, everyone knows about the saying Roll Tide Roll or the big rivalry between Alabama and Auburn. But can someone tell me what both of those schools are known for academically? Most likely, most people cannot. So when we pay athletes, we're putting way too much, we're drawing the attention from what really matters. So student athletes will begin to only focus on their sport, what's paying them, instead of college, getting a degree in what college is for. And finally, there will be unfair compensations between the sexes and the teams. If school pays pay on the amount of revenue that each team generates, it'll be unfair compensation for other student athletes. Despite the fact that female athletes have the same skills as their male counterparts and capabilities, a lot of people just don't attend their games. For example, according to a recent study done by sportsmedia.com, over the past couple of weeks of this opening college football season, more than 8,000 people went to the games. This can increase up to 6.54 million viewers. If this many people are watching the game, at least a quarter of those are actually at the game. They're paying for parking, they're paying for tickets, they're paying to get in the game, expenses in the game, tailgating, and way more other expenses. This money will eventually be given to the players once all the set costs are taken care of. Now let's compare that to a girls' college basketball game, which on average, they only receive 4 million views. And this is on the best of the best worldwide known girls teams. What happens to other college teams that are not as big, such as the baseball team, the soccer ball team, the volleyball team, the bowling team? Shouldn't they be paid as well too, because they are playing for the university as well? In conclusion, college athletes should not be compensated. Athletes are already being paid. Some people are not aware enough to realize that student athletes are being on scholarship. In this way, that is their pay. And to economists, that is pay. Compensating athletes will put student athletes, focus on sports instead of their education. And finally, there will be unfair compensation between the popular and less popular sports. Thank you for listening.